Happy 100 episodes, friends. Welcome, Millionaires in the Making. This is such a big milestone for us and our relationship. If you've been listening since the very beginning, you have literally been with me as I transformed as a human. I started this focusing only on mindset, and then we dove into business. And now we're super into the nervous system with mindset and manifestation piled on top. This is such an evolution, and I am just so glad that you are here and that we have done this together. Make sure, this is just a quick housekeeping thing. I'm still receiving reviews and you guys emailing. So I want to make sure that every single one of you, there are hundreds of you that listen every single week. Please, please, please review the podcast and get your name into the drawings so that I can coach you. I'm so excited for these sessions. So how it works is you just, if this is the first time hearing this, you just write a review, a positive review, and then you email me and you let me know that you submitted the review, because it doesn't give me the email. And sometimes I don't even know the name of the person who made the review. So you just have to email me and say, I submitted the review, and then I will add you into the drawing. And for every 10 reviews, I'm giving away a free coaching call. You guys, this is insane. I could have just done like however many reviews we get. I'm just giving one away, but I love to coach. I love to coach your face off. And I cannot wait to help you with your healing or your nervous system or your business, like whatever you want to talk about in that free session is all yours. So pause this if you need to, pull over on the side of the road, stop with the laundry, do the review, email me, coachcorbett@gmail.com, and just say, hey, Doreen, I submitted the review. Please enter me into the drawing and I will do it. So much fun. Today, I wanted to celebrate with you by giving you a story and also giving you a quick tip to literally change your perspective of your life in a matter of seconds, however many seconds it takes to do what I'm going to tell you to do. Okay. So once upon a time, there was this young 22-year-old girl named Doreen. She was bound and determined to work at this wellness resort. It was the first of its kind, called Canyon Ranch in Tucson, Arizona. And this girl was graduating college and she lived on the East Coast, but this was the only place she wanted to work. So she found out that they were having internships, and they would be paid internships for the summer after she graduated. And so I'm going to stop talking in the third person now. And so what I did was I applied for the wellness internship. I had an undergraduate degree from St. Joe's University in Philly with a degree in interdisciplinary health services, which means I had classes from death and dying to hospital systems to bio to chem, like anywhere you wanted to go in the health system. I had psychology, mental health, all of the things. I could then take that degree and either get a master's or just go into the health and wellness field. And I wanted to go into wellness. And so there was this opening. There were 4 roles, and one of which was the wellness coordinator at the one and only place I wanted to work, which would require me to drive across the country, figure out where to live, all the things. And so I applied, and it was I was down to between me and someone else, and I did not get it. I was crushed. I was like, I don't understand, because this is the only place I will be working after college, and I didn't get it. And I was crushed, and I let myself be crushed. And I then decided that I was still going to work there somehow, some way. And 2 weeks later, I got a phone call from the executive offices, and they needed a marketing coordinator. I never told this story in this podcast before. They needed a marketing coordinator, and I would be sitting just 2 offices away from the CEO and founder and visionary. And I would be working directly with these 2 powerhouse women, One came from marketing at really big names and done incredible things in the entrepreneurship world. And the other I would be reporting directly to had been with the ranch, we called it Canyon Ranch, the ranch, for 20 years. She started as a fitness instructor and worked her way all the way up to corporate. There was this opportunity and I had already interviewed, and she only called me. And she said, we had a conversation, we had an interview, and she said, would you like the job? And she said, the only caveat is that it's unpaid. And I said, hell yes, I want the job, because I bet on myself that it may be unpaid now, but it's not going to be unpaid for long. Once I got myself in there, I showed my work ethic, I showed the executive presence, all the things that I would get myself a job once I got there. So I drove across country, started with the unpaid internship, and it was amazing. It was amazing. I ended up working at Canyon Ranch for 4 years, by the way. They did hire me. And what they hired me to do, I was about 8 weeks into a 12-week commitment. And they came to me and said, listen, there is this opportunity to work on the Queen Mary 2, which is a cruise ship. And you would be like a spa coordinator, like you would like book all of the appointments. That's like all I knew how to do. Like I wasn't a massage therapist and I wasn't an esthetician. Like I didn't have any of those skills. But I could certainly, I managed the cash on board and all of like the tips and all that stuff for the entire team, which was like 50 people. And then I would work in the spa on this ship, and it would be a 6-month contract. And I was like, what? Yes, please. This ship sailed everywhere. Every day we woke up in a different country. So basically I took an unpaid internship, and it was paid, by the way. I think it was like, they were paying us like $2,500 a month, but no housing, no meals, no car, like everything was paid, right? Like you didn't have to pay for any of that. So at that time I was like, what is even happening? This is so much fun. And I've always wanted to travel the world. That was always on my bucket list. So notice here, my determination for these two things. I only wanted to work in this one place, and it happened. And then I knew without a doubt, manifestation wise, like knew that I was going to get hired, and I did. And it turned out to be better than anything I could have expected, because it allowed me to travel the world. And so I flew to Heathrow, and little old me, I was one of 10 Americans on a crew of 3,000 crew members. And I think we could take like 4,000 or 5,000 guests. It was the largest ship at sea at the time. And it was Cunard Line. So it's a British line. And so I flew to England, got on the ship, and lived my life and met the most incredible friends all over the world. It still allows me to travel and connect with people all over the world. I was mostly surrounded by Australians and South Africans, and I was the only American on the team. No, there was one other. There was two Americans on the team. And I lived on international waters for 6 months. We would work 6 days a week. We worked 12-hour days. And then on our one day off, which I wanted to rest and sleep like the whole day, I just couldn't, because I was in Italy or Barcelona, or we were at Barbados, or we were dancing the night away in Greece. Another one of my bucket list things was to go to the Olympics. And it just so happened that right after I got on board, the very first thing we did was go dock in Athens for the Olympics. We spent 3 weeks being the quote unquote hotel for all of the American athletes. That was wild. And on board the ship, if you've ever been on a cruise, there's nightclubs or this or that. So we were and because we were docked, it wasn't like a real cruise. I had every other day off in Athens. And so we went to all the Greek islands. We did all the tours of Athens. I went to the Olympic Games. I mean, it was unbelievable. What an experience. And at the time, I just kept saying yes to the next amazing thing. It's like one step at a time, but the determination is what got me there. So the reason I tell you all of this and give you this background is because as you're listening to this, I am just coming back from my first cruise that I have been on since I worked on board a cruise ship. And by the way, working on board a cruise ship everyone is so amazing. Like they want to be there. They love their jobs. you're having so much fun. You're young. I mean, it's just a really fun culture. And I will be coming back. By the time you're listening to this, I'm preparing to go on. But I'll be coming back from my first cruise ever since working on the ship. And what struck me as I'm preparing to go on this cruise is how when I was working on the ship at 22, 23 years old, all I wanted, all I dreamed about, even though I was having the time of my life, all I really wanted was what I have now. I wanted to fall in love and get married. I wanted to have a big, beautiful family. I wanted to do work that really, really, really serves the world. I wanted to have an uncapped income. I wanted to be in charge of my time and myself. Like, I literally dreamed all day, every day about this life that I've created now. And so many times we meet a goal or a dream, and then we just quickly dream again and dream bigger. And we don't really take the time to sit and reflect on like how far we've come without looking at how far we have to go. And so anyone listening to this podcast or seeing this on YouTube is just incredibly driven, incredibly ambitious, have big, 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 big dreams and goals. And what I want to offer is, if you want to change your entire life, like the life that happens between your ears, like your perception, like what is actually happening in your brain, take the time daily to look at how far you've come and what pieces of your life you have now that you used to just pray for. I mean, down on my hands and knees praying. I knew that meeting my husband and having babies was not something that I could will my way into. You know, it was going to take trust of God, of the universe. It was going to take a bigger force than me alone, me wanting it, right? Like, I had to trust that I could create, that I could do my part, right? But that's all I could do. I always say love and babies are like the two things you can't control. And that has proven to be true in my life and experience. So the quickest hack I can give you on the 100th episode is to take a minute and really reflect on how what you have in your life is what you used to dream of. And the only reason you have it in your life is because you dreamed it first. We cannot bring anything into fruition that we're not dreaming of, praying for, thinking about, being, holding the vision of, holding the feeling of. We can't bring anything to life unless we first decide we want it. This is what I want it to look like. And again, it may be that or something better, right? But first we have to like set the GPS for the universe and say, like, this is what I want. And I see this again and again and again. And what happens is, like, when we start to do all this nervous system work and we start to really heal and peel back the layers, it's common to do less and less mindset work. And because you just don't need to do it all day, every day, like you used to, because your mind is not spinning anymore because we've healed at the nervous system level, which is a beautiful benefit. But also using some mindset to be grounded in gratitude for what you do have is important for you high achievers and for me, because the brain is so focused on the next level that it's not going to serve up, oh, look how far I've come. Isn't that cute? It's not going to do that. It's not going to serve it up. You have to go in and search for it. You have to make an effort to really just look around and say, like, this is what I prayed for. And that should give you the knowledge to know that what you're praying for now that you want to happen is going to happen. And one day you're going to get there and you're going to say, but this is what I prayed for. And I want you to appreciate it. Because if you're living out your dream, you're literally living out the dream that you put into the universe, you asked God for, and you're not looking around like being grateful for it, I don't think that we can continue to get more. unless we're grateful for what we already have. So there is a book, I don't think I have it here, that talks about this. It doesn't talk about this in this way, but it's the idea of like, look how far you've come. Oh, the gap and the gain. That's what it is. It's the idea of like, look how far you come instead of how far you have to go. And that's all well and good. That book was fine. But I'm taking this to a different level here. And I'm really telling you, like, I literally want you to pick up your head and look around and say, oh, I dreamed of that. I prayed for that. I can't believe I created this, right? Like, what is it that you have brought into life? And I really want you to own that, because that was you. That was all you dreaming it first. And also simultaneously, you can still have your big dreams. Of course, I do too, but we don't want to skip over the appreciation and the gratitude for like, holy shit, you're living your dream life right now. And maybe you're not, but there's something you have right now that you used to pray for. There is something in your life right now that you used to dream of. And holding on to that will not only make your future dreams feel more possible, but they will change your whole outlook about how you go about your day. Instead of, because entrepreneurship can be very hard, friends. And instead of walking around all day, every day, being like, oh my God, this is so hard, you could be like, oh my gosh, look how far I've come. Look how much I've created. So on this 100th episode, I wanted to give you one of my favorite hacks and share a story that really reminded me how important it was to reflect and to build in time to reflect. And I'm grateful, so grateful for the cruise and the opportunity to kind of go back on that, to say, oh my gosh, like, let's pull out those journals, like everything, you guys, everything that I have now is what I used to dream about. And it was so clear. I knew exactly what I wanted. And it was a windy road to get there, all through corporate America until I landed here. But I got here, right? And do I have every single thing that I want? Well, of course, there's more things that I would love to achieve. But for the most part, yeah. And I want the same for you. So submit a review. I cannot wait to announce, and I will be announcing it on my social media on March 1st. All of the sessions that I'll be giving away, and then my team will reach out to you and we will book those. Make sure you review, have your friend review, have your sister review, anyone in your family reviews. It's all good. That all counts towards you. And I hope you are having a beautiful week. And I hope that this really reminds you to take the time to see, even though things could be hard in personal life or in business right now, I want you to see how far you have come. Okay, friends. Mwah! See you next time.